From life-sustaining medicine to essential gadgets, these 10 items are now off-limits on flights, and you're about to find out why. It's impossible to argue that health is everything, and nobody plans to get sick on the day they plan to travel. Nevertheless, liquid medicine made the list as one of the items not totally allowed on a flight. You can't bring more than 3.4 ounces of medicine unless you tell the airport in advance. When traveling with medicines, use a 7-day pill box to keep everything organized, making it immediately apparent to airport security personnel in order to avoid any form of embarrassment. Moving from one forbidden item to another, this next one might surprise frequent flyers. It can be frustrating not to be able to carry your delicious soup when traveling. The truth is, no matter how harmless it seems, soap falls under the liquid restricted in airports. While you may argue that a single serving of chicken and mushroom poses a lower risk to the safety of your fellow passengers than a firecracker, liquid is still liquid. Well, at least 3.5 ounces or more of liquid isn't an option. Even if it's a perfectly innocent, delicious, and deeply satisfying soup, you just can't travel with it. Our next item seems completely harmless, but can seriously threaten the comfort and safety of other travelers, so it's also off limits. From tear gas to fire extinguishers, chemicals and toxic substances are strictly prohibited. This isn't just about common sense safety. It's a vital measure to ensure the security of all passengers and crew. This includes peroxide, which is seemingly harmless, and while you might use it for everyday purposes like bleaching hair or as an antiseptic, its chemical properties can pose a risk in an unpredictable aircraft environment. So if you're planning a vibrant, new look when you arrive at your desired destination from the airport, make sure to bleach your hair before you head to the airport or after arrival in a salon, because if you attempt to travel with these items, it's going to get confiscated. When chemicals are banned, it's understandable, but when things like protein powder are no longer allowed, it begs the question, can passengers even travel with any amenities at all? For a lot of travelers, especially those dedicated to fitness or specific dietary needs, packing powdered substances like protein powder, coffee, spices, or powdered milk, it's a pretty common occurrence in practice. However, when flying particularly to or from the United States, it's critical to understand the regulations set by the Transportation Security Administration. While you might be focused on bulking up on your vacation, the TSA has a different kind of bulk in mind: the potential security problems. However, certain powders are exempt from the 12-ounce limit. These include prescription or essential non-prescription medications, baby formula and food for infants or toddlers, and human remains cremated are also exempt. In spite of these exceptions, any of these items without clear labeling will be confiscated. So while you might have traveled with all these items before, it's now off limits, which brings us to other types of food items you can't travel with. Food items with strong odors are prohibited because of the recirculated air in an aircraft cabin can and will trap and amplify these smells, leading to discomfort or even nausea for other passengers. What might be a delicious treat to somebody like durian could be an offensive odor to pretty much every other living creature on board. Alcoholic beverages with more than 70% alcohol by volume are also not allowed in both carry-on and checked baggage. Although it qualifies as liquid, it also has strong odor and is extremely flammable, posing potential risk to the people and aircraft environment. However, lower-proof alcoholic beverages are usually permitted within certain volume limits, both in carry-on and in checked baggage. And if you thought that was a little restrictive, wait until you hear about this next banned item. Weapons like knives, swords, spears, martial arts weapons, nunchucks, rocket-propelled grenades, you get the idea, are all strictly prohibited. Even toy firearms that look real aren't permitted either. The general principle is that any item that could reasonably be used to threaten, injure, or cause significant damage isn't allowed in either carry-on or checked baggage without specific authorization and declaration, which is typically reserved for licensed professionals under very strict conditions. Weapons, completely understandable, and I agree with that one. But did you know that some profession tools aren't allowed? Carpenters, gardeners, and construction workers aren't going to be too happy about this particular rule. Tools like saws, saw blades, sports sticks like baseball bats, hockey sticks, or golf clubs, and other tools with sharp edges are generally not allowed in carry-on luggage. While some smaller tools might be permitted in checked luggage with proper packing, the overarching principle behind these restrictions is safety and security. It's important to understand that tools with sharp edges or those that can be used as blunt instruments are not an option at all. The primary reason these items are prohibited from the aircraft cabin is the potential for them to be used as weapons or to cause serious injury or damage to the aircraft. While technological advancements bring us closer, they also sometimes introduce new risks, leading to bans on items such as portable chargers and power banks. According to the Federal Aviation Administration, portable chargers and power banks with lithium-ion batteries are now only allowed in carry-on bags, so you can't pack them in checked luggage anymore. They are to be retained with the traveler in the aircraft cabin after the bag has been checked to the gate. Lithium batteries, while incredibly efficient for their size, pose a significant fire risk under certain conditions, and the security of all passengers and the aircraft itself is at risk if certain precautions aren't followed. However, it's not just about technology. What you eat can also be an issue, too. So make sure you consider new guidance on fresh food. The restrictions here are clear. Processed meats, including sausages, tinned meat, and other meat-based foods, are illegal. So you're not permitted to travel with your favorite tinned salmon or that artisanal sausage you ordered just before you left for the airport. Now, the same is true for fresh fruits, vegetables, and even seeds. Why? Because they can be a disturbance to other travelers, and they can host pests and illnesses, which can be easily moved to other countries. The Transportation Security Administration restricts liquids, gels, and spreadable items to 3.4 ounces or less in carry-on luggage. So if you're bringing any of these, make sure the container is small enough or stow it in your checked luggage. The TSA recently confirmed that the 6 most frequently removed foods are yogurt, hummus, cream cheese, creamy dips and spreads, jam, and peanut butter. Every Thanksgiving, the government reminds passengers that leftover turkey is a particularly fine in-flight food, but cranberry sauce and mashed potatoes may or may not be confiscated depending on how watery they are. So, make sure your good grandma makes them. As technology advances and security intelligence improves, travelers have to stay updated, remain vigilant, and informed about all the latest regulations and rules. So which of these took you by surprise, and which one do you consider the most frustrating and unnecessary? Make sure you let us know in the comments section down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.